All right, what is going on, everybody? My name is Peter Del Tondo, and we are back today with challenge number 7 here for the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenges. And thank you all for tuning in. I saw Julia and Timothy asking. I always use Andrew Apple Pie for our stream mix. And Julia, hit up the team if you need that. We'll make sure to get that over to you. Thank you all for tuning in. A lot of friendly faces. We've got Juan, Sam, Aaron, Cornell, a lot of the usual cast of characters. And I love that you are all here day after day, week after week on these Adobe XD streams. I know we rotate hosts and we get to come in every couple of weeks or a couple of months, and it's awesome to see the same folks in here participating, working hard, and learning to get better as designers and understanding the tools. So really, really cool to see you all here. So thanks so much. And Tom from Miami Beach, thanks for tuning in, man. My team is based out of Florida, although I am not, but we've got a crew over there. All right, so let's jump into things for today. If you have not yet signed up for the challenges, don't worry, it's day 7. We've got 2 more challenges after this, but these are one-off daily challenges. Don't worry that you didn't work on something before. You can jump right into it. Very few of them will kind of carry over, such as today. It's going to carry over from a little bit of a previous lesson, but it'll take you about 2 minutes to catch up. So I promise it's going to be simple and easy as we jump into this. And then next, if you come down here, you go to behance.net/challenge/XD. And over here at number 2, you can join the community chat. That'll take you over to Discord, and I'll show you what that looks like next. But then each and every day here, you'll be able to come in and view the different challenges, download the starter file. And then if you happen to miss an episode or you want to go back and watch something again, make sure you click on watch video. It'll take you back to that lesson, and you get to see my smiling and handsome face as I explain all the cool things that are going on with each of these challenges. So with that, let's jump in here to Discord. All right, so over here in Discord, this is where we live and breathe throughout these challenges. The current challenge channel is going to be your primary zone. So over here, send us a link to your Behance project after you've uploaded your challenge, or if you want to put in here a screenshot, or I would really recommend a video showing us the prototype and how you've built that out. A lot of these challenges, the way, or I guess the lesson we're trying to figure out is, do you understand things like prototyping and moving an object or changing component states like we did yesterday? And it's really hard to tell if you understood that if we don't get to see that interaction. So make sure you upload a video or post a video to your Behance project. That's going to be really, really helpful for us to see. So as I mentioned, jump on in here. I'm going to be doing a stream later this evening. I'm going to do a really, really long one tonight and a couple other days this week, going through and catching up on some of the challenges. And you've also got the other mentors you'll see up here. It looks like I'm the only one online at the moment, but Joss, Elise, and team will be in here giving you feedback as well. And so you can see they break down and give you just fantastic feedback about your project. All right, so with that said, let's jump on into today. So today we are looking at anchor links, and what anchor links are. If you've been to a website before where maybe you've got a left side navigation and you click on different things and that navigation stays, but it shifts the content on the side to different points. So it's linking to different objects or heights of your artwork in the file. And so it's really cool to be able to prototype that out in XD, and it opens up a lot of possibilities for you. So today we are going to design a web-based education experience where users can bookmark and preview lessons, and we want to add things like navigation aids using anchor links. So coming down here, a couple of things. So this is one that our team worked on over at Unfold. We got to work with School of Motion, and as we come in here, we're going to focus on the anchor links today, but I want to share this in terms of like, what do these videos look like? And if you want to add and spend some more time, because I think this is a great project that will turn into a larger case study. What does it look like when I click into the video, and how does that page show information? Things here like transcripts, or I want to take notes, maybe sections, timestamps within the video content where I can go and speed up or whatnot between things. So definitely some stuff to take a look at here. You can check out more of that project on our Dribble and Soon Behance project as well. And then we've got some others here. These are a little bit more simple, more in the daily UI type challenge. I'm not quite sure as functional, but some cool things to go and be inspired by and see, how these are kind of laid out and what you could take a look at. Another thing that we've got in here, you're going to see me using today, is Nuclio App. This is a great app. There's a link in here to go and purchase the app icon. You can also use Adobe Stock, and Noun Project is free. Flat icons are great, and some more plugins that tend to use often. So today we are going to focus here on building out this tool. And so I thought it'd be good. We'll do like a video system to learn about XD. And it's a great situation here to come in, and I want to click through and browse the library of different content within this. And as I was taking a look at this, I'm like, this feels off brand as I did my wires, that this isn't a darker UI. So really quickly, let's just come in here and I'm going to change this. Let's darken this all up. We'll maybe use this color here at the top. I'm going to change this to white. Oops, that's not white. All right, and then maybe down here, I want to change the side navigation. Let's either go a little darker or a little lighter. Maybe we'll do kind of something in this zone. Ooh, I like that. Kind of like a mauve right in here. A little gentle. And then maybe this section again, I might switch it up. I might want to do the videos on the darker section, or, play around with this stuff. See what feels right and kind of on brand. I'm going to mess with this a little bit more. Maybe we just go, again, just slightly off. I kind of like that. Might be a little bit too much to go with those colors. So you know what? Let's bring this in here. We'll lighten up this side navigation. And I kind of like the UI here to be a little darker as well. So different things to play with. We might, reverse some of this stuff out as you guys see my indecision live here on the fly. But there's a lot of stuff that we could potentially work with and, see what works. So at the moment, I don't know, we'll go something like this. Okay, and I want to get rid of this line here. Move that up. All right. I'm going to cheat it and go up one more. All right, cool. So now I've got this bit here, and I want to come in and I want to add a couple of things here to have my navigation. So over here on the side, you can kind of see I've built this out. I'm going to recreate this on the fly, but I'm going to start off and I'm going to say getting started with XD, and that's kind of series 1 here of my items. And maybe what I want to do is I want to create some sections down here now. I'm going to switch this into this block because I want this to be a little bit larger. And I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit taller as well. So we'll do something like this, and we can just say 1, and what do we have here? Messaging in XD. And I'm going to bring this down in size a little bit, and we'll go to regular, and then maybe I'm going to indent this over a little bit. All right. So I've got this section here now. I'm going to go and create a couple more items. So I've got here, let's do 2 component states. I'm just going to remove the in XD. I don't think that's needed. Yeah, the indecision thing is real. I know people, it's often easy to look at another designer and be like, oh, I love their work. This happened so fast. And it's like, you didn't watch the amount of times we changed this language, we moved an object left, right, left, right, left, right, and just continue to try out all the different things. So I encourage folks as you are working and maybe struggling through some of those things, just know it is part of the process. And what did we say that was? Design systems? Was that right? I feel like that's totally wrong. Nope, landing page. Totally wrong. All right. Cool. So I've got these items. I want to actually just space these out a little bit more. So I'm going to come in and really quickly do that. Let's bring this down and a little bit more. Cool. So now I've got a bit of a menu system over here to the side. So let's start bringing over some of these objects. And as we come over here, there's a couple of different things. We've got our, anchor this to the top. We've got our navigation. Over here, we've got our background. And I know we don't always work in a way that, you know, we take the time to title this stuff, but when you do, it is really helpful just to be able to see what's going on and make sure that what you're bringing out and over is going to be correct. So let me make sure this is up at the top. Range, bring the front, great. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to set up a couple of these items to be here. Let's do this more or less right in the middle of this object. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to start pulling over videos. And so what I've got here is just a little preview panel. I just grabbed some thumbnails from the channel's YouTube. And we've got over here a play section. I'm just going to remove this because this is actually would be less accurate. And that would be something like 1931. That's going to be how long that video is. And then let's start bringing over some content. So since I changed this to a light UI, we're going to make that text white. I'm going to anchor this all to the side. All right, so we've got all of this stuff now. Very cool. Put that up just a scotch. All right, cool. All right, so there's a couple of things I want to do now. One, I mentioned we want to bookmark things. So one item I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go to my Nuclio icons, and I'm going to say bookmark. All right, so now this is going to give me, and I'm not sure how large I want this to be. Let's start with 32. I'm going to go to outline, and actually let's go outline. And let's select, as I take a look at my options, let's go here. Okay. All right, and so now I'm gonna move this over, space this out accordingly. And we'll make that white. Okay, great. So now I've got an option to bookmark this lesson. Whether I want to put that over here, you know what? I think I kind of like it better, maybe off to the side. That way everything kind of flows a little bit better on that side. And this becomes a regular pattern, so it's always going to be over here. And then we could even add some additional items if we wanted to like skip to a next lesson or things like that. We could totally do something along those lines. But let's start off with this. And I want to create a couple of the different states with this. And so I'm going to hack this one because you know what I should use. The glyph, what I want to do in this, and the reason I'm switching this, is I want to be able to have a component state, kind of like how we did just yesterday, where this is going to be our filled in or kind of active. Maybe this is even a different color. But what I want it to do is I want to have that border here. And maybe this is where we'll start to utilize some of the colors from XD. So maybe I'll come in here, I'll make that a bit of a hot pink. I'm going to remove that fill, and I may come in, let me give this a little bit more weight. Because I have this off to the side too, I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. That works a little bit nicer. All right, that works well enough for the moment. Otherwise I'm going to sit here and tweak an icon forever. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to component. I've got my default state, and then I'm going to create a new one. We'll call this active. And in here, we are going to add that same fill color. Oops. So I select the right one. And now I've got a selected state for if I have bookmarked that particular item. So really cool to be able to do that as well. All right, so now I want to come in and I want to add a couple of other things into my prototype. So I'm going to start adding additional items, and then we're going to start to link these up. So let's go. I'm just going to change this text to messaging. I'm going to move this over as well. Actually, let's move all of these over. And I want to make sure that these are at least behind my navigation, and you'll see why as we get a little bit further on that front. Now I'm going to give this a little bit more space. Okay, and then I'm just going to copy these items. Cool. Okay. And I'm just going to space these all out evenly. Perfect. Okay, so we've got everything. I'm going to come in. I'm just going to change. For the moment, I'll just focus on the titles, so that way we know that these are all different. Voice trigger. Do I have the right to use Howard's face? And landing pages. All right. Perfect. Landing page. Small detail, but if you're matching up text, make sure it matches. Okay, so we've got this laid out now, and let's start putting some things together. I also want to change this icon to be that same pink, just so we're all dialed in. All right, very good. So we've got this dialed in now. I'm going to get very picky on myself and tweak this just a little bit more. Bring in a little bit of that bit. Ooh, there we go. All right, it's feeling even better. So now let's start actually prototyping this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over here to prototype mode, and I am going to select this object here, and I'm going to select tap, scroll to, that's going to be that anchor navigation. And in here, I'm going to give this an offset. I'm going to do 100 on the Y, and that's just going to give it a bit of space. So that way it's always spaced properly from the top of my artboard. So that navigation that's up there, it's always going to give a little bit of room. And you can set these to anything you like, ease in, ease out. I think this will work just fine for the moment. And I'm going to slow this down just a hair, so that way we can make sure that we see this easily in the prototype. One other item, I'm going to select my navigation here, and this is probably going to be unselected off the bat. And I want to click Fix Position when scrolling. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep that that navigation over there on top right there. So I also had to make sure it was in the front of my layers. That way everything else scrolls behind it rather than showing up on top of those items as well. And so we're going to go in. I'm actually going to want to grab this stuff too. I can group this, and I'm going to fix position of this stuff as well, so that way that doesn't move. But I'm going to come in. I've got this anchored here. I want to go in. I'm going to select this one. And again, it's going to keep the same settings from your last interaction. And so if you can, make sure to I guess, do them in somewhat of a sequential order, that the settings are going to be the same. Because if you did a different one and you have different animation needs for that, then it's just a little bit more difficult, because you've got to go back and tweak the settings and tweak it again. So the more you can keep it consistent, the smoother that'll go. All right, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit more so I can see. I'm going to come over here down to voice triggers. And again, it's going to keep that space. All works very, very nice. Very, very simple. All right, and so I've got my different sections now. Now, let's showcase this, and then I think we've got time. I'm going to kind of take it up a little bit of a notch. So let's go into our view. I'm going to pull this up, and let me move off to the side. That way we can see this without any disturbance. Okay, so I'm here. I see Get Started with XD. It's presenting me with this first series in the segment called Messaging. And now I can either scroll down on the side and I can view through these different things, or what I can do is I can come over here and I can click between them. And so as you saw, there's that nice ease in and ease out effect. And I can quickly tap between each and every one of these, and I can simulate what it looks like to browse through those items. So there is a lot of possibility that you can do, especially when you get into building and prototyping things out, such as knowledge bases or tutorial education platforms, FAQ sections and pages. You're able to fully simulate what this is going to be and how this should interact, and be able to show whether it's your creative director, your client, your boss, the stakeholder. Again, just going back to XD animation is top notch, and being able to simulate stuff like this is so cool. So there's a lot of things that we can do here, and we can even get into like component states where we can do the interactions, where I want this to go into, say, the default or active state. And so you can do a lot of cool things with this, prototype that out as well, and toggle between those different options. Now, what if, say, I click in, I'm watching one of these series, and I just want to skip to the next lesson? Maybe something that we could do with that is I could either see, I'm just thinking more from a UX standpoint, how I would want to solve the problem. And this is not it, but on the fly, I'm going to show something for functionality. Skip, or I could say next lesson. All right, so maybe over here, let's do kind of small. I could either, put this down here, or I'm going to have this just over to the side. And again, maybe this is in, a pink color or something. We can figure out the right way to do that later, but it's going to give me some options to skip. Maybe there's an arrow instead that just moves me down, or maybe there's something that anchors all the way up. There's a lot of different options for this, but for the moment, I am going to utilize this, which I fully acknowledge is not the right UX solution, but for purposes of education and learning, we're going to let it slide. So I'm going to come down here. Let's see. Hi, what's up, Talon? Good to see you, man. Next review stream, Cornell, is going to be tonight. I apologize. I did not get to do last night. Fell asleep when I was putting my daughter to bed as I was laying down with her. So, hashtag parenting. It's been a long week. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back into prototyping mode, and just kind of like how we did before, I want to add these same transitions. So I am going to come in and really quickly, again, it's keeping those settings. I've got my tap. It's going to scrolling to another object. And then it's going to bring us down to next lesson. It's going to keep that distance there, which on this one, I'm going to need to change because, let's see, or no, it's going to keep a good gap. I'm sorry, that is correct. I like that slower pace actually a lot. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to do this with each and every one of these. All right, and maybe for this first one, you know what? Let's change this last one. Let's go back to first lesson. And this one, I'm going to have anchor back up to the top. And I did this incorrect. This should not go here. This should go here. This should go here. That's why it was throwing me off. All right. There we go. Now that space is right. All right. And then let's check this one. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So let's jump back on over. I'm going to go click on this and back to prototype. So now there's a couple of options in how we interact with this. I can come over to the side and I can interact with all of these here, or I could say, just take me to the next lesson. I completed this one. Again, jump down to the next lesson. And then when you get all the way to the bottom, you have completed everything you could learn about XD, which is way more than 4 lessons. I'm going to come back up and it's going to anchor me here to the first lesson. So again, keeping this really simple. I hope this all made sense. Please let me know if you have any questions. Hit me up in the XD Discord, shoot me over a DM or tag me in the channel. I'm going to be doing a long stream tonight reviewing on Behance, so go make sure you follow me on my personal Behance page so you get notified when I go live. Behance.net/Peter Daltondo, and we'll go through, we'll catch up on a bunch of the reviews and critiques for your challenges. And you guys can watch that later after the fact as well. But come join me. If you're live while I'm doing it, I'll invite you, come join me in the Discord voice server, and we'll talk through and ask some questions about your project. Here to help you out along with the other mentors. So hope everyone has a wonderful day, and stay tuned for the next segment, and we'll see you tomorrow.